Yes, welcome to another episode of the Weekly Comics Poll. I'm your host, The Real Manos. I'm also Justin Cristelli, because I can be both, damn it. Well, I have picked up two comic books this week. Sorry, just two that came out that interested me. Captain Marvel number 22 and Amazing Spider-Man number 50. Wait, didn't we have that last week? We sure did. Nick Spencer has a lot of story. A lot. And we have a lot of money, so this has to happen. Well, before I get started, of course, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have to figure out that wording a little bit better. Before I start the comics, I want to talk to you about my comic book. Red Knight is available at Manos Publishing in print and digital in issues 1 through 4. Check it out. I work very hard on this, and some very nice people do as well. So, hey, let's get to some stuff. I'm going to talk first about Captain Marvel number 22, Legacy number, what is this, 156? So, okay, hey, everything's going really good for Carol right now. This, by the way, is from Kelly Thompson and Lee Garbett. And like I said, everything's going swell. She's been able to, hang out with her boyfriend now, after being split up so much. I'll be honest, there have been times where I've forgotten, oh yeah, they're a couple. Because their work keeps them apart all the time. So hey, she's no longer the accuser for the Kree Skrull Empire Alliance. That's her sister. She now has a sister. She's reinstated back into the Air Force. Her friends Jessica Drew and Hazmat are there, and everything's cool. So the end. Actually, I'm just kidding. Gets a little complicated. They are called to, some kind of disturbance, so they go check it out, obviously. And before they get to figure out, what's going on, Carol is blasted into, apparently, the future. And speaking of the end, that's where she's been shot to. In case you hadn't noticed, Marvel sometimes does these one-shots called The End. And it's the premise is basically Marvel goes to popular creators or current creators of characters and go, hey, what's the last story for this character? And last year, Kelly Thompson did a The End for Captain Marvel. And hey, it's popping up in regular continuity. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't read all these The End one-shots. I feel like this is the first time I've seen The End issue brought into the regular book. She's currently working on the book, so obviously she could have easily have folded it in. So that's what she's doing right now. We get to see Jessica Drew's son. Emma Frost is here. And for those of you who haven't checked it out, the world has been, the world not been destroyed, but it's in an apocalyptic state right now. Rhodey has been killed. Let's see. A lot of Carol's friends are old. The world is in shambles. And by the time Carol gets here, she had her old self, her future self, had sacrificed herself to save the world by reigniting the sun, Hal Jordan Final Night style. And, okay, she needs to get back. And, by the way, there's this really cool action sequence where she pulls a Goku move, like from the Tree of Might. That's the KOK times 10 move right there. So she goes to the monument, she sees Rhodey's name, she talks to old Jessica, trying to figure out how to get back. And everything's interrupted by Luke Cage, who shows up and is apparently working for their enemy. Now, Luke looks perfectly fine. He doesn't look like he's aged a day. This could be his son or grandson or whatever, or it's him. But why would he be working with their enemies? So, not too bad. I have no idea where this story's going to go. So, really good. The art is absolutely gorgeous. I love, let's see, Garbett has not been the only artist on this book, but they have been kind of nailing it with the artists. They've all been clean, solid looks. Canera was the first artist, and a lot of the artists have kind of maintained sort of that style and that feel that she established with the series, and this is really good. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Ram Chips. Very curious as to where this is going. All right, now we're going to Amazing Spider-Man number 50, or 851. I hate legacy numbers. Anyway, okay, hey, that Sin Eater stuff was exciting, right? Well, that's done. We're getting into Kindred, and Kindred is going into, I guess, the final stage of his plan, his multi-part, 80-part plan that he's finally going to, like, get revenge on Peter Parker, not so much Spider-Man. And it opens with this chilling scene where he digs up George Stacy, which does lead you to wonder, like, is this George Stacy or what he's got planned? This is from Nick Spencer, and Patrick Gleason is, I believe, the new regular artist on the book. Now, we go back and forth through time, and I'm actually not sure when we are with Spider-Man, but the main important stuff in this issue is, first off, Sin Eater finds Green Goblin. Remember, Spider-Man kicked him out of the school bus, so maybe he might get found by the Sin Eater, and sure enough, that's what happens, and Sin Eater shoots him, absorbing his powers and leaving him as Norman, and apparently not the Green Goblin anymore. We'll see how that lasts. But he goes to Kindred, and Kindred tells him, like, hey, you know, all that stuff you believed about your partner being shot and all that, you know, you've been lying to yourself. And he's apparently dragged back to hell, because Kindred's done with him. And Kindred can apparently do that. He can pluck people out of hell, like, hey, I need you to do this thing. And, oh, great, hey, all right, thanks a lot, but you're going back to hell. Then we flash to the scene with Spider-Man and the Spider Family hanging out. They're attacked by Kindred's demons, and something bad happens to him. So he starts running, and he ends up at Doctor Strange's lair. And that's when we've realized what's happened to his spider friends. Now, we cut to the scene where Kindred is preparing a meal for Peter Parker, and he's invited Captain Stacy and Gwen. He's dug up both Gwen and her dad for this. It's horrifying. It's a little chilling. Now, we get to the final scene where Goblin is found by Dr. Kafka, and I'm not going to spoil what is revealed after that. Now, this issue, I'm going to say, reveals the identity of who Kindred is, which I figured issue 50 felt like a number they would do that with, and that's what they've done here. And I am underwhelmed while simultaneously excited. And I know that makes no sense, and I'll explain it in just a second. Because it's who I figured it could be, and probably one of the most obvious choices, but at the same time, I'm left to wonder how he got here, how he became Kindred, and what's his plan. Like, Nick Spencer, I think, wisely didn't bet the entire farm on who Kindred is. Because I don't know what his beef, I don't know what his beef is. Like, is it like previous revenge plots he's had against Peter? And he made some references to One More Day and the deal he made with the devil in this issue. And that feels like that was done on purpose. Like, that wasn't just random references. So it does make me wonder if it ties into that, and really does feel like that's been a piece of what he's been doing this whole run so far. I do have some issues with the pacing, where we've been going back and forth with Spidey and time, and I feel like those were unnecessary artistic choices, because, like, I was kind of confused when Spidey's swinging through New York and hurt when we last saw him with the gang, and then we flash back to what happened with the gang, and it's kind of necessary. I didn't feel it was necessary. He could have just told that story linear, and that would have been just fine. So I don't know. That's a little off of the issue. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Ram Chips. Pretty good. Still pretty exciting. And I am going to do a First Thoughts video about the secret identity of Kindred. Now, I'm not going to spoil it in this issue. In this video. I'll talk about that in another video. Sorry, I think, did the camera go off? Okay, good. Good, it didn't. So anyway, I'm going to talk about it in an additional new video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a first thoughts on that, and I'm also going to do a first thoughts on the big DC Comics news that got dropped, the Future State thing. I'll be talking about those in the next two videos, so keep an eye out. Like I said, Real Manos is not just a fantastic channel that no one watches, it is also a comic book publisher no one reads, so you can be the first to pick up some issues of Red Knight 1 through 4 in print and digital. They're pretty inexpensive compared to some of the big monsters that Marvel's been putting out for like $8, $9 and stuff like that. Also, I have a vampire novel available on Manos Publishing and Amazon Prime. You can check them out there. So, hey, I'm also everywhere else. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. You can also catch me on TikTok with 1-minute comic reviews. Also, you can support The Real Manos and Manos Publishing at Patreon for just $1 a month. Well, okay, that's a lot of business stuff out of the way. Phew. I hope you enjoy these comics. Let me know in the comments below if you read them. That always helps my algorithm, so, give me a hand. All right. Push the button, that's it.